The Book of Revelation, also known as the Apocalypse, is the final book of the Christian New Testament. Its complex imagery, vivid symbolism, and prophetic visions have intrigued and puzzled readers for centuries. Traditionally attributed to John the Apostle, it was likely written around 95 AD while he was exiled on the island of Patmos during a time of persecution under Roman rule. Revelation begins with a series of letters from Jesus to 7 churches in Asia Minor, modern-day Turkey. These letters, delivered by John, address the spiritual state of each church, commending their strengths and pointing out their flaws, offering promises to those who overcome their spiritual challenges. The main body of Revelation is a detailed account of John's visions, which unfold in a highly symbolic narrative. The visions are rich with imagery drawn from Jewish and Christian traditions, and they describe events leading up to the end of the world and the final judgment. The visions can be divided into several key sections. The Scroll and the Lamb. John sees a scroll sealed with 7 seals that no one can open. Jesus, portrayed as a lamb who was slain, is deemed worthy to open the seals. As each seal is broken, various events occur on earth, including wars, famine, and natural disasters often interpreted as judgments upon the world. The trumpets and the bowls, these series of events, heralded by angels blowing trumpets and pouring out bowls, bring further calamities. They symbolize intense and divine interventions in the form of ecological and social upheaval. The beast and the Antichrist, symbolic figures such as a beast and the false prophet or Antichrist emerge, deceiving many and waging war against the saints. These figures are often interpreted as embodiments of evil and opposition to God. The final battle and judgment. Revelation describes the ultimate defeat of Satan and the forces of evil. Satan is bound, and a 1,000-year reign of Christ with his saints takes place. After this millennium, Satan is released and finally defeated in the battle of Gog and Magog. This is followed by the Last Judgment, where the dead are judged according to their deeds. The New Jerusalem. The climax of Revelation is the vision of a new heaven and new earth, where God dwells with humanity in the New Jerusalem. This represents the ultimate restoration of creation, free from sin, death, and suffering. The purpose of Revelation is multifaceted. It is meant to encourage Christians to remain faithful despite persecution, offering hope that God will ultimately triumph over evil. The imagery serves both as a critique of the political and social order of its time, and as a metaphorical framework for understanding the spiritual struggle between good and evil. Interpretations of Revelation vary widely. Some view it as a literal forecast of future events, others as an allegorical or symbolic representation of spiritual truths, and still others see it as a historical commentary relevant to its own time. Regardless of interpretation, its powerful imagery and promise of new creation have made it a significant and enduring part of Christian eschatology and theology. Despite its complex and often cryptic content, the Book of Revelation holds a central place in Christian eschatology, the study of the end times. Its rich tapestry of symbolism has been interpreted in various ways across different Christian denominations and throughout history. Historical and cultural context. Understanding the historical and cultural context of Revelation is essential. The book was written in a time of significant political and religious turmoil. The early Christian community, to whom John was writing, faced intense persecution from the Roman Empire. The vivid depictions of cosmic battles and divine judgment can be seen as a form of resistance literature, providing hope to believers that oppressive earthly regimes would eventually be overthrown by divine justice. Symbolic imagery. The imagery in Revelation is deeply symbolic and often borrows from Old Testament prophetic books such as Daniel, Ezekiel, and Isaiah. For instance, the number 7 appears frequently, symbolizing completeness or perfection seen in the 7 churches, 7 seals, and 7 trumpets. The creatures and symbols like the lamb, the dragon, and the beast draw on Jewish apocalyptic literature, which used such imagery to communicate the certainty of God's triumph over evil. Revelation emphasizes several key theological themes. Divine sovereignty, God's ultimate control over history and destiny, is a central theme, reassuring believers that despite apparent chaos, God is in charge. The call to perseverance. The letters to the 7 churches emphasize faithfulness and endurance in the face of persecution. Judgment and salvation. The visions of seals, trumpets, and bowls underscore the themes of divine judgment against sin and evil, and the ultimate salvation of the faithful. The reign of God. The final chapters describe the overthrow of evil forces and the establishment of God's unchallenged reign, culminating in the creation of a new heaven and new earth where righteousness dwells. Interpretive approaches. Interpretations of Revelation vary. Preterist. This view holds that most of the prophecies in Revelation were fulfilled in the early centuries of Christianity, reflecting the persecution of the time and the fall of Jerusalem. Historicist. This perspective sees Revelation as a broad sweep of history from John's time to the end of the world, with different events symbolizing significant historical periods. Futurist. Many modern evangelical and fundamentalist Christians adopt this view, reading Revelation as a literal forecast of end-time events yet to come. Idealist or symbolic. This approach interprets Revelation as a timeless depiction of the cosmic struggle between good and evil, applicable to the spiritual journey of believers in any age. Impact and legacy. Regardless of one's interpretive stance, Revelation's impact on Christian theology, art, literature, and popular culture is profound. Its themes of hope, divine justice, and the promise of an eternal kingdom have inspired countless believers through troubled times. Artistic representations, literary allusions, and modern media continue to draw on its rich imagery to depict themes of ultimate redemption and the transformation of the world. Through its compelling, if enigmatic, visions, the book of Revelation continues to challenge, comfort, and inspire, serving as a powerful conclusion to the biblical narrative.